Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. Hello, I am Unplannered, and I'm here today with something slightly different. I'm going to try and do my monthly view for my A5 and as a plan with me, I suppose. So this will be for the month of April, and what I'm using is, even though it's an A5 and it's non-standard inserts, which are awesome by the way, even though it's a A5, I have an Erin Condren kit from Lucinda Charlotte Designs, because it is stunningly gorgeous, as you can see here. So that's your banners and headers and washi, and then I have day covers and some holidays and some icons, lots and lots of event labels. I have another washi strip, some sidebar stuff, which I'm fairly certain won't fit, indeed will not, and some boxes to cover the other days. So as per usual, because my planner is all DIY-y, I'm going to attempt to make this work into my A5 inserts. So this will be a little bit arts and craftsy, but I hope that you enjoy, and other people who are using inserts and things like that will get some ideas to use. So first things first, in order to kind of make this look the way that it's supposed to, I'm going to cut this down to sort of fit. But first off, what I think I need to do, if I look at the width, so the first thing that I need to do is actually remove the days of the week part from it. So I'm just going to do that using my X-Acto knife, I think, because that sounds like the easier thing to do. If I can find a straight edged ruler, then I will do that. Probably should have got a cutting mat out to put down underneath everything, but you know, that would have involved some sort of forethought, which is not always my strongest suit, I must admit, despite being a planner girl. Let's get these off of here, because I will have to cut down the parts that say, you know, the part that says April anyway, but that's a lot easier to do once it's stuck down to the page. Okay, so hopefully that will have worked. Oh, awesome. So all I normally do is line this up with the top of the page, kind of as centrally as possible. Isn't that pretty? I really like those clouds. They make me very, very happy. I realize that I'm talking through this, and probably I'm going to end up like saying so often that I end up doing a voiceover, but we shall see. We shall see. So let's get this. Ooh. Don't rip. Okay. Now the reason that I line it up with the top is because I have the date strips, which you know I don't always have. Like I often use kits from AJ6 Designs, and the days are like separately cut out, so it's not always a strip like that. So all I do then is trim off from the back the excess of this big sticker. There's a little bit of the top there, but I'm not so worried about that, to be honest. So yeah, so you can see the back of these inserts have like notes pages on them. I don't always use them, but I do sometimes, so I'm thinking about doing a plan with me for the notes pages, but as you all know, I'm very bad at getting the plan with me's done, so I hate to promise things and then not deliver. So that's that, but then what we want to do is attempt to put our strips in. Now, what we have to see is how they work in terms of the box sizes. Yeah, they are too big, so let's just cut them down and add them ourselves. Sorry, realize I'm cutting off the page. So all I'm going to do is make these make sense to me by cutting them with a little bit of the kind of edging around. I feel like I'm on one of these like crafting show channels. The good thing about doing this for me is that I can now change the week around, because I don't start my weeks on a Sunday, and I always find that kind of strange when they do. It's not something I've ever done, like when I lived in Canada or when I moved here. Weeks don't start on Sundays, so Wednesday is too long. Now, had I thought about it and realised that these were going to need to be cut, I probably would have brought that right down to the edge. But such is life. I'm just trying to get them kind of as central as possible, and then do the same. I'm trying not to cut through the washi strips at the bottom, because I don't know if I might use those for something. And this is entirely possible that I may. Also, I just don't like to waste anything when you never know what it could be used for. And that's like a thing that I have, actually, sort of in general, but most particularly with my stickers. And I should probably stop keeping all of the little odds and ends that I keep from kits and stuff like that. But because I'm a DIY planner and I don't rely on kits, you know, all the time, it's really great to have like a random assortment of spare kind of items. Right, okay, I think that looks crooked but cool. Yeah, crooked but cool. See, I don't mind if it looks a little bit kind of, you know, DIY-y homemade, because realistically that is how it is. So next thing I'm gonna do is probably put the day covers in, just because if I don't do it just now, then what I tend to do, because I'm a little bit of an idiot, is I tend to kind of accidentally use too much of the box or something like that, and then it makes it awkward to put it in. But I've just realized that this may be awkward anyway, because these are flag shaped rather than circular. I probably, what do I think of that, moving it down so that it's not in the corner? So if I move it down to the kind of top of the circle, I say. Yeah, no, I don't think I hate that much, actually. I thought I would, but not so much. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. And as all of you planner people will know, this is like a very time-consuming bit. So I suppose I can have a wee chat about where I've been lately. As most of you know who've watched me before, I am in uni, and this last couple of months has been like the last of my like super intensive periods in uni, where I'm in, you know, every single day of the week for, in this case it was 7 weeks, and in addition to that I've also been working my own job, and as you all know, I work shifts. So I've had quite a lot of time and quite a lot of days where I've been in uni all day and then going straight to work. And to be perfectly honest, YouTube and everything like that was a wee bit neglected because I have been knackered. Like, just shattered at the end of weeks and days. And mostly I was only managing to get sort of one day off in like a, you know, completely off in a 2-week period. So then by the time that comes around, you've like neglected everything else in life. You know, my house was like a disaster, and you know, nothing was organized and stuff like that. So on that single day off, I would be trying to kind of catch up with like house things, but also just kind of wanting to vegetate. So yeah, so that's why I've not been so good with the videos. I had some kind of pre-done, which is why there was some up in like the beginning of the period, and then I had planned on a couple of those kind of mid-period days off to film some more, but it just didn't happen. You know, I just like vegetated on the couch and wanted to spend time with my family and my partner because I hadn't seen him, and like I barely saw him that whole time. It was awful. So that finished up towards the end of March, and basically it's just taken me about this long to kind of get my stuff together again, like just to feel sort of normal. So I'm sorry about that. Hopefully it won't happen again. I have a busy month this month in terms of work, because in order to kind of get through all of that, I had to move some of the shifts, like some of my shifts out of the period, like by swapping and stuff like that. So I do have a pretty busy month in terms of work, but it's only really work that I'm doing. I have you'll see when I start to put my kind of plans down and stuff like that, I have some tasks due for uni, and I have an essay due at the end of the month, but I don't actually have to physically be in uni at any given stage over the course of the month. So whilst it's busy at work, at least I'm only doing like that one thing, you know what I mean? So I'm only kind of like, I'm not going back and forth to stuff. So I'm quite excited about that. So hopefully I will have time to sort of catch up with all of this stuff, because I've wanted to do like these plan with me's and stuff like that for a long time, because I often get questions about sort of, you know, the DIY nature of my planner. I also have some cool stuff like that I want to try out. I've got sort of Erin Condren box sized like inserts to try that kind of week on 2 pages thing, which I always like, I'm scared of the thought of, because I have no idea what that would be like for me, because I use up so much space. But I thought I would give it a go. Alrighty then, so now that you've survived my inane babble, there we go. And I think that actually looks quite pretty. I'm quite pleased with it myself, I must admit. So now I don't know what to do about sort of these blank days up here, so we might need to come back to that and consider carefully, because I do have these kind of washies, but they do seem quite, it seems like that would be quite top heavy in terms of decoration, so we'll come back to that and see. Now, sidebar, I had a wee look and I'm fairly certain that it is too fat. It is. However, it does look like the checklists and things will fit if I cut off the edges. So why don't we try that and see? Might be worthwhile keeping these for, you know, trying out the Erin Condren boxes, because they're so pretty and I don't really want to waste them, but I also want to use them in this here calendar because they're so pretty and I don't want to waste them. So I'm just going to cut off these, let's see, I'm just going to cut off these dark edges here. I'm not even so bothered, for those of you who know me well, about the fact that it's heart checklist, just because it's unicorns and it's kind of whimsical anyway, so that sort of makes sense to me. Right, so how much space have I got here? So that will need to come off, and then, right, so maybe just put that down. So it's one big long sticker instead of being, I think it is anyway. She says, yes, it's one big long sticker instead of being multiple little ones, which actually in this case is quite helpful. So let's see if this works out as I hope it will. Awesome. Oh, that worked really well. Right, I've got this uneven edge on the side though, which is going to drive me bonkers. And this is the cool thing about, like, you know, doing it this way and just letting the overhang happen. It's so much easier to cut off, you know, following the paper from the back than it is to do beforehand. Oh, that's really cool. How pretty is that looking? Check us right out. Okay, so next thing is to put in all of my shifts. months. So as I say, it's a busy little bumblebee month. I'm working 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 days. Do I have 19 boxes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 16 boxes. I like to use the same kind of, the same effect box when it comes to marking down work days. So let's see if I have something else that would work. Those are quite big. I wonder if those would do. Yeah, I think probably those would do, and they're not too big. They might actually fit already without me having to cut them. Oh, they do. How cool is that? Okay, so we'll save those for other events, and we'll pop our work stuff in. So which of these? Right, so pink probably works. Purple's quite dark, but it probably works. That blue. I don't have much green in here, but yeah, probably just enough to make that one work. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. No, can't math. Yeah, math is not my strong suit. Right. So I've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I'll need to use 14, 15. I'll need to use some of the other greens as well. Okay. I'm just gonna have to give in to that. Right, so we will start off with pink. It's I'm very lucky this month in terms of the fact that my shifts are very easy because I'm mostly, in fact, yeah, almost all of them are night shifts this month. So, it'll be easy to kind of remember what I'm working rather than having to write all that down all the time. So that's quite good. So, third. Sometimes I'm, like a real mix of day and night and back shifts. So it's nice to kind of not have that happening. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then use that kind of one there. Yeah, hopefully. That was cool. They all match-ish. So now I don't want to start again with the same color because I don't want to end up like all pinky in the one column because I think that would be weird. So let's start off with that blue. Sorry, I feel like at this stage I'm just talking to myself. I hope you all don't mind. 8, 9, and then I think I have like a whole 2 days off, which is very exciting. And then I'm 12. I think this is I've got a run of 7, and I think this is over Easter. Yeah, so this is the run of 12 over Easter. I'm working from a post-it that I kind of prepared earlier to make sure that I had, that I could remember like what I was doing for you guys. I always think that's like the easiest thing to, to forget in a way, is that when you go to do this, you get all the stickers and you get your planner out and everything like that, and that's all well and good because that makes sense and those are things that you need. But then you sit down to do it and you realize you've forgotten like what your plans are, or or maybe it's just me, but do you know what I mean? It's always like those kind of really important things that you somehow manage to entirely forget to put in. So 18th. And then I believe that I have some shiny annual leave. I do. So I'm off until the 25th then, which is super nice. So I'm on 25th, 26th, and those three. So I'm gonna put the blues over here because I have greens for here. Yeah, so towards the end of the month, I do have some time off, which is very, very needed. I have like this whole list of things. I have a to-do list, but also a to-enjoy list of things I just want to do. Like I just want to sit and read books and catch up on all my TV shows because I'm super far behind. There we go. And the very last one. Okay, so that's all my work shifts down. I actually think this is turning out pretty cool. Right, okay, so I've got all my work shifts down then, and I actually don't have much in the way of anything else going on this month, just bearing in mind that, you know, it's pretty much insanity. I have, I'm really looking forward to this little run of 6 days off here. But other than that, I don't think I have too much happening. On the 6th, I have an appointment with someone that I've promised to help out with a task. So my issue with these is that they are too big, obviously, for these boxes. So what I tend to do is on this stencil here, I have this one, which is too small, but gives me the, you know, the kind of internal room, if that makes any sense at all. So I'm gonna cut a few of these down. Oh, no, it's not that one. Like that doesn't seem right. I'm gonna cut a couple of these down, and then that'll give me some boxes that I know will work. As I say, they'll be a bit smaller, but I'd rather them be smaller than bigger. I'd rather them be smaller than bigger. Right, where am I? So the 6th. Yeah, that just seemed really wrong there. And that's because it was. So on the 6th, I have an appointment. Not loving that. Wonder. A nice shiny little icon will make me feel better about that. So I'm helping someone out with like a statement for like an application for a job. So none of these looks like it will really do, but I have to drive there, so let's go for that. Does that make us feel better? Oh, that does make me feel better. Okay, so appointment to do that, and then on the 9th, I need to register my taxes, but I don't think I need like a box for that. I wonder if I can get away with like some sort of little, what else is in this kit? Such bits and pieces everywhere. Like a laptop or something on here. Oops, sorry. No, there does not seem to be. I would guess that somewhere in my collection of 80,942 bazillion stickers that I would have a little laptop somewhere. But I will hazard a guess that will be impossible to find right now while we're doing this. So I say we go with just a kind of, I don't know whether I really desperately want gold in here though. Some nice colors though. And those purples and blues like really match nicely. So hard. Ooh. Those are even nicer. This is very difficult. And herein lies the other problem with Plan With Me is I've not quite got this whole bit down yet where where I'm used to kind of having to talk through this while I look for stuff, or like I haven't looked things out. So let's put that there, and then is there a little exclamation mark somewhere or something? Oh yeah, cool. Right, okay, so let's put that there, with that beside it, and then I can write in that I need to do that. Yep, no, I like that. Okay, so register my taxes that day, and then my essay is due on the 28th, so I feel like I really need to write something about that there. Because, you know, like, vitally important to the whole rest of my life. It's the last big one. There are, you know, like, I have littler tasks in between now and then and stuff like that, but this is the last kind of biggie. So let's do that, and I think I will go with an important, like an asterisk maybe. Yeah, I like that. And on the 24th, I'm planning on handing in some other sort of like little assignments. So they're not a big, you know, as big a deal. Pencil. Yes, I have little pencils in here, so let's take one of those. And actually, I wondered if I should put that on there as well. Yes. And I will take the other little pencil, because it's uni assignments-y kind of things. Yeah, I have some like littler assignments to hand in. And I don't really have a date for those, but I'm hoping to get them done on the 24th. Though, upon contemplation, that's probably madness, given that my big essay's due. But we shall see. So I shall put it in there anyway. Now, I don't have much else going on this month. As you can see, I am kind of far too busy. I have payday, which I will use this flag from the kit for. I write like that. I have payday, and I don't really have any birthdays or anything like that. I possibly like to do something about this annual leave time and kind of, you know, do something to make it stand out from the rest of it in terms of its amazingness. I have little sparkly hearts that I could use, or I had pulled out these kind of washies that I received in Iraq. They're from Michael's, so I'm sure most of you are super familiar with them, but we can't get them here, so, you know, they excite me greatly. I wonder if I could use those as a kind of vacation strip sort of thing. Like, I'm not going away, but right, I have that option, and this one's kind of brighter. I'm not going away or anything like that, but I'm still quite, you know, excited about it, so I would like to mark it somehow. I inherently like this one better. I'm not sure either of them particularly match greatly, but you know, we have a unicorn thing happening. I'm good with that. I keep losing my X-Acto knife, and given that I'm sitting on the couch and not at a desk, I keep thinking this is probably like a really bad plan and I should pay more attention to it. Because you know how like when you're sitting on the couch you put things beside you all the time? Yeah. But thus far I have managed to not do that, so. Okay. I'm feeling so accomplished and crafty today. Excellent. Okay, so shine bright and sparkle, and then let's find two that we like. I would say we probably should do sparkle again over here, just so that we don't have shine bright twice. Sensible? I am absolutely loving this. I think this is going much better than I thought it was going to. See, it's different when you're like doing it by yourself. Because like, you know, you can take as much time to kind of fix things as you want to or as you need to. Whereas when you're doing it, like videoing it, you kind of have to be aware of like how much time you're spending and stuff like that. But it seems to have gone decently well. So I think that's just about it. I know I did want to do something about about the, you know, these days up here, but I'm not really sure what I want to do about them. Do I want more of that in there? I don't think I do. Nope, to be honest, I think I'd rather just leave them. There's probably loads of you shouting in the background going, no, don't just leave them, don't do it. But I'm not so super convinced that I want anything up there, and I think that it might make it look too kind of cluttery. Do I want something down here though to kind of tie all of that in? I'm unconvinced, but we will see if it makes it too crowded and makes me freak out, because, you know, that's entirely possible. So just line that up with the bottom. Sometimes I think when you add like the bottom stuff, it does one of two things. It either pulls everything completely together and just makes it look awesome, or you just immediately know that you've like totally overdone it and it's too much and it needs to come off. Do you know what I mean? So let us see which of these two situations we have gotten ourselves into by doing this. Oh no, I'm okay with that. Yep, totally okay with that actually. Surprised much. And we will take this other side then and stick it here, like right up against that sort of sidebar. And trim it off. And I think that that is probably me. Now I do have like a bazillion different sort of like themey, unicorny kind of stickers that I might dig out to use as deco on this spread, and maybe that's how I'll kind of deal with that. But for the moment, I am absolutely loving the way that it looks and don't really want to mess with it greatly. So that's pretty much me then. I will get this all written out and popped into my planner, and you guys will see it on Instagram, etc. And yeah, so thanks very much for joining me. If you want to see more Plan With Me videos, which hopefully will be coming over the next little while, then do remember to like and subscribe my video using your thumbs up button and the little red button. And yeah, I hope everything's cool with you all. As I say, I'm sorry that I've not been around too much, but I've got lots of videos coming up for you. And I look forward to like reading your comments and seeing how you guys are doing, and everything like that. So yeah, until next time then, bye and happy planning. Bye!